Ready, Joseph?
I'm bear with me. I'm having trouble getting to the live feed, so I'm gonna log out and log back in.
You already on live.
Okay, it is showing live on your end?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, yes, I see we are live. Well, good morning. My name is Judge Tamika West, and I will be presiding over first appearance today, May 1st, 2021. At this time, I will need to swear in everyone, so if you will raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm that the information included in your application for court-appointed counsel, as well as any information that you give to this court today, it will be true and correct? Yes. Okay. Well, before we begin first appearances, you can put your hands down. Before we begin first appearances today, I would like to make a few comments so you can understand what your rights are today. So I ask that you pay full attention, and then I'll address any questions by each individual once your name is called. This is your first appearance before the Magistrate Court of Clayton County. We are not here to try your case or to take a plea. You are here for the court to inform you of the charges against you and advise you of certain rights. Set bail on those offenses for which this court is authorized to set bail. To schedule a preliminary hearing and to determine whether you require the assistance of an attorney. You have the right to remain silent and say nothing. But should you give up this right, anything you say during these proceedings can and will be used against you if your case goes to trial. Doing this and all other proceedings, you have certain rights. You have the right to the presumption of innocence until the state proves your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. The right to indictment by the grand jury for most felonies or by accusations for misdemeanors. The right to a speedy and public trial by jury. The right to see, hear, and cross-examine witnesses who are called to testify against you. The right to compel the attendance of witnesses in your own behalf by subpoena. The right to testify and offer evidence in your own defense, should you choose to do so. But should you choose not to do so, no presumption of your guilt may be raised. You have the right to have an attorney represent you. At this point, we will appoint an attorney to represent you if you're eligible. Some of you will be allowed to post unrestricted bonds for your release from jail pending prosecution of the case, which may be cash, commercial, or property. If you post a cash bond, someone will deliver the full amount of the bond in cash, together with applicable mandated fees to the sheriff's office. Will hold it until your final court date, at which time the cash bond will be returned to the person who posted it. If you use a commercial bonding company approved by the sheriff, someone will have to pay the company up to 15% of the total bond as their fee for their service. This fee will not be returned. Someone may post bond using their property if they have equity, net equity in their property, an amount equal to 3 times the amount of the bond. Some of you will have special conditions on your bond that prohibit you from contacting certain people or going to or around certain places. These special conditions will be provided to you on a separate form. You will also be prohibited from calling or having contact with the victim while you're in jail. Should you violate the court's order, your bond will be revoked and you will not be entitled to another bond while awaiting trial. An additional charge of aggravated stalking, influencing witnesses, or other charges as the law may provide could be brought against you, for which you could be sentenced up to 10 years in prison and fined up to $20,000. For family members who will assist you in posting bond, they will be provided with information of your bond amount after we have concluded the first appearance calendar today. If a family member is a victim on the warrant and there is a special condition that you are not to have contact with that family member, he or she will not be allowed to post a bond. Some of you are charged with offenses for which this court is not authorized by law to set bail. In this event, a bond hearing will be scheduled before a superior court judge and you will be informed of that date. Some of you are charged with offenses for which this court is not authorized by law to set bail. If you are currently on active probation, this court is not authorized to set a bond. Your bond can be reconsidered after your probation officer has an opportunity to determine if they wish to file a warrant for violation of your probation, usually during your preliminary hearing. The purpose of a preliminary hearing is to determine if there is enough evidence or probable cause to justify keeping you detained until such time as your case goes to trial. Again, this is important. The purpose of a preliminary hearing is to determine if there is enough evidence or probable cause to justify keeping you detained until such time as your case goes to trial. For those of you charged with misdemeanors only, you will have the option of waiving your preliminary hearing. Waiving your hearing will not affect your rights to post bond. Your right to have an attorney appointed to represent you if you qualify for one, or your right to a jury trial. If you post bond, your preliminary hearing is automatically waived, and you will be mailed a notice when to appear in state court for arraignment. If you cannot make bond, you may waive your preliminary hearing and be taken before a state court judge, at which time, if you plead guilty, you will be sentenced. If you plead not guilty, a trial will be scheduled. If you choose to have a misdemeanor preliminary hearing, the hearing will be scheduled for June 22nd, 2021 at 8:30 a.m. For those of you charged with felony offenses, you will not have the option of waiving your preliminary hearing. Your preliminary hearing is scheduled for June 21st, 2021 at 8:30 a.m. That concludes my opening remarks. Deputies, I will take the first individual. Are we starting with the female inmates first?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and then I know we have several that we need to do an extradition for. So I would like to save those inmates for last.
You have one female, 2 males for extradition.
Okay, so I'll take all of the females here. So I'll go through the calendar. I'll do the extradition first, and then which individuals need an interpreter?
That'll be Valdez, Fabian Garcia.
Okay.
And,
Is that the only individual, deputy, for Spanish interpreter?
yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so we have to do an extradition hearing for that particular individual. So we'll save that individual for last.
Yes, Your Honor.
Very last. Okay, I'll take the first person. You step forward. Please speak loudly and give me your full name.
McCree Antoinette Caesar.
Good morning, Ms. Caesar. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, ma'am. Thank you for asking.
Ms. Caesar, you have been charged with 2 offenses, to include driving with an expired registration, and driving while with a license, with a suspended license.
Yes, ma'am.
Your total bond amount is $2,000. Do you understand the charges as well as your bond amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you make bond?
I can make bond, yes.
In addition, I have your preliminary hearing scheduled for June 22nd, 2021 at 8:30 a.m. Would
Yes.
you like to waive your preliminary hearing?
I have a question on that. If I go ahead and pay the tickets, because the officer did give me 2 tickets, if I go ahead and pay those before June, do I have to still go to court?
Well, that's something you would have to speak. Did you fill out a court-appointed counsel form?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Let me look at that real quick. Well, that's something you would need to speak with your attorney about.
Okay,
That's separate from the preliminary hearing. The preliminary hearing is just if there is probable cause to move forward with the case.
okay,
But again, if you do not plan on contesting the charges, which means you want to pay the fine, then I would say that's something you would need to speak with your counsel about. So if you're unsure about it, then I could go ahead and leave it on the calendar for June 22nd, 2021. And then if you make bond, then it's automatically waived.
okay. Well, I know I can make bond once I make a phone call, but if whatever fees there are, I would just go ahead and pay them, because honestly, I didn't really understand about neither one of them, because I have information for my license. I didn't know it was suspended, and as far as the registration went, I thought I had until today. That's why I went and took care of my business yesterday on the last day of April, but the officer informed me that it doesn't work like that anymore. So I will just go ahead and pay the fees, because technically it's my fault.
Okay, so so now remember anything, remember that's a separate question though, as to whether or not you want to waive your preliminary hearing
Okay.
for June 22nd, 2021.
Well,
So,
no, I don't want to waive it. I will go to it if I have to.
okay,
Okay.
now you understand if you make bond, it's automatically waived. So if you
Yes,
pay,
ma'am.
because that will be the purpose of the preliminary hearing, to see if it's sufficient evidence to continue to hold you.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay. I get it. I get it. I'm sorry.
Okay. Now, I see I have your application here for court-appointed counsel. You did check that you have a job, but you did not include the amount of your monthly income. Can you give me an estimate?
I work 2 of them. So would I combine both of them together, or how would I do it? Because I work 2 separate jobs.
Yes, you would combine both of them for your monthly.
Okay. So as far as my monthly will go, between both jobs, I'm making about 3,000 a month.
Okay.
With both jobs.
Okay, does that vary?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Is it any time where you can make less than 3,000 a month?
Actually, there will be, because I'm leaving one of them and just going and just sticking with the other one. So it will change.
Okay. Well, based on your responses, I am approving your request for court-appointed counsel.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions, Ms. Caesar?
Just one, because they did tell me last night that we're up in the front. They told me last night that I can use a bonding company and it would be $400. Is that true, or do I have to pay the whole 2,000?
I'm not certain. I'm not involved in any arrangement regarding bond. My job is to set the bond.
Oh, okay. So just when I can get a phone call, I can call and ask and do all of that.
Yes, and also since I've approved your request for court-appointed counsel, your court-appointed attorney should be in contact with you.
Okay.
You need assistance in making those arrangements.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. State your full name.
Clayton's your name, Writ.
Good morning, Ms. Riggs. You've been charged with 2 offenses, to include battery, physical contact, and disorderly conduct. Your total bond amount is $6,500. Do you understand the charges as well as your bond amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you make bond?
Yes, ma'am.
I've scheduled your preliminary hearing for June 22nd, 2021 at 8:30 a.m. Would you like to waive your preliminary hearing at this time?
Oh, ma'am.
Okay. Also, as a condition of my bond order, there's certain things that you must follow. Specifically, you are to stay away from Carolyn Michelle Barlow. That includes indirectly, directly, by mail, by email, pager, telephone, third person, from the person, home, workplace, and immediate family members of any witness, including but not limited to Ms. Barlow. Do you know who Ms. Barlow is?
No, ma'am. I think it's her mother.
Okay. In addition, do you know who Joy Lawrence is?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, who's that?
That's the one I got into the fight with.
Okay. Also, I'm also including that you must stay away from Ms. Lawrence as well, since she's the alleged victim. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
And also, since the incident occurred at 623 Point South Parkway, Jonesboro, Georgia, 3028, I'm ordering you not to return to that location.
Yes, ma'am.
What is that location?
It's down the street. It's like a plaza.
Okay, you understand that you can't return to that location?
Yes, ma'am.
And you also cannot violate any other laws while out on bond. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, also, did you complete a court-appointed counsel form?
What is that?
It's a form that where you complete requesting a court-appointed attorney.
No, I did. They did appoint me an attorney.
Okay. Who appointed you an attorney?
I had court yesterday.
For this issue, is this a separate issue? I'm speaking specifically to the charges that I read.
No, it's the same. It's the same. Same charges.
Because I do have a court-appointed counsel form for you that you completed today.
Yes, I did. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now you do state that you have a job, but I can't read your response with how much you earn monthly.
Monthly, I around 800 to 900 a month. It's a working app for your phone. You can pick
Okay.
jobs up.
Okay, so based on your responses, even though you have a court-appointed counsel, I just want to make sure that that's taken care of in terms of if you're eligible. So I have determined that you are eligible, so I am going to go ahead and approve your request for today.
Thank you.
Just to make sure that you have proper legal counsel.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Riggs. Okay, give me your full name.
Okay, Jeanette Whitson.
Kristen, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good so far.
Okay. You've been charged with 2 offenses to include identity fraud and forgery in the first degree. Do you understand the charges that I've just read to you for identity fraud and forgery in the first degree?
I do, but I don't.
Okay, tell me what you mean by that.
I don't know what it is.
Okay. So I'll go through, do you want me to read the description that's stated in the probable cause that's stated in the warrant that I have?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, it states here that the accused enter into a rental agreement, a rental contract with Tri-Ship Partners to rent an apartment located at 1365 Connolly Road, apartment B8, Connolly, Georgia, 30288. The accused used the victim's identifying information to include name, date of birth, social security number to complete the rental application. The use of a victim's identifying information occurred without the consent or knowledge of the victim who reported the allegations on Clayton County police reports. The accused was the sole lease signer on the rental contract. Now, do you understand the basis for the charge, Weston?
Yes, but I rented it out through someone. But yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I just need to know if you understand the charges. I'm not here to try your case.
Okay, okay.
So do you understand the charges?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I have your total bond amount set at $5,000. $2,500 for the identity fraud and $2,500 for the forgery in the first degree. Can you make bond?
Yes, ma'am.
I've also scheduled your preliminary hearing for June 21st, 2021. Did you complete an application for court-appointed counsel?
Yes,
You understand your next hearing date is June 22nd. You understand that? I'm sorry, June 21st, 2020,
2021 at 8, right?
8:30 a.m. June 21st. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
And you say you did complete an application for court-appointed counsel?
Yes, ma'am.
So based upon your responses, unfortunately, you do not qualify for court-appointed counsel. Do you have any questions?
You say I don't qualify for what court?
For court-appointed counsel because you have a monthly income of $4,500.
Okay.
Is that accurate, the amount that you put on your on the court-appointed counsel form?
I have, that's including my 2 jobs.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So does that amount ever vary from the 4,500?
Between 45 or 3,000.
So between 3,000 and 4,500?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, well, if that's accurate, then I'll go ahead and approve the request for court-appointed counsel. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, do you have any other questions?
No,
Okay, well, thank you, Ms. Weston.
you're welcome.
Come on, man. Your Honor, this is last female, this is the extradition matter.
Okay. Please give me your full name.
Alexia LaParis Richardson.
Ms. Richardson, you've been charged with the offense of being a fugitive from justice. Based on the charge and the offenses, I'm not authorized to grant you a bond today. However, I am required to give you a hearing regarding your extradition. So let me begin by introducing myself again. My name is Judge Tamika West.
Okay.
Okay, this hearing is what we call an extradition hearing. All of the rights that I have advised everyone of early also apply in your case. But your hearing is just a little bit different from the other first appearance hearing that's taking place today. You do not have charges pending against you here in Clayton County. You have been brought to this court today because you have charges pending in another state, and they're requesting that you return to that state to answer those charges. Based on the information I've been provided, it appears that you've been charged with committing a felony in the jurisdiction of Alabama. Are you in fact, is it Alexis Richardson?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and spell your full name for me.
Alexisu, A is the first name.
Okay.
Middle name, Laparis. Last name, Richardson, Richardson.
Okay, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Do you already have an attorney representing you in this matter?
No, ma'am.
Okay. You are charged with being a fugitive from justice as follows. This hearing today is being conducted pursuant to the official code of Georgia, Title 17, Chapter 13. As you have heard, it is alleged that you are charged with committing a felony in the jurisdiction of Alabama. You have a choice as to whether you wish to contest the extradition or to waive the extradition and be returned to the other state without going through the formal extradition process. If you decide that you wish to contest the extradition, the court may commit you to the county jail for an initial period of 30 days. During that time, a warrant will be prepared under the governor's signature for your extradition to the other state, that being Alabama. The court may consider allowing you to post bond, but the court is not required to allow bond in your case. As you are wanted by another jurisdiction, I am not setting bond in your case at this time. If you do not wish to voluntarily return to the state of Alabama, you may file what they call a writ of habeas corpus to contest the extradition. The writ can only contest 4 things. The first thing is whether the extradition documents are in order or in their face. The second reason is whether you are charged with a crime that actually exists in the demanding state of Alabama, whether you are the person named in the request for extradition, and whether you are in fact a fugitive from justice. You cannot contest the issue of your guilt or innocence in this state, the state of Georgia. You are entitled to the advice of counsel in contesting extradition or deciding whether to waive extradition. If the state is unable to extradite you within 30 days, you may be committed to the county jail for an additional 60 days awaiting your extradition. If the extradition is not completed in 90 days, then you will be released. If you decide to voluntarily waive extradition and return to the state of Alabama, the state of Georgia will have 10 business days to travel. I'm sorry, the state of Alabama will have 10 business days to travel here to transport you back to the state of Alabama. If they do not come to transport you back to the state of Alabama within 10 business days, you will be released. Do you have any questions regarding anything that I just explained?
I think you explained everything thoroughly. I'm just gonna give you my opinion. You tell me what's best for me, because this is I've never been to jail. I've never been in trouble with the law.
Okay, so let me stop you.
Okay, I know I can't explain it.
Okay, let me stop you. So
Okay.
say that anything you say can and will be used against you in these proceedings. That's the first thing.
Okay.
Okay, the second thing is that I'm not here to try your case today. That's the
Okay.
okay. And the third thing is I cannot offer you any legal advice.
Gotcha.
Here today is to advise you of your rights, and then you have to make the decision as to whether or not you want to waive extradition, which means you voluntarily go back to the state of Alabama, or whether or not you want to contest it, and then you will be committed to the county jail for up to 30 days until the procedure moves forward with the extradition. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am. So, okay, I think I want to contest it because it didn't happen. There were falsified documents from defects. They falsified and said that I was a fugitive from Georgia and said that I went to Alabama to confiscate my son and I wasn't supposed to, but that's not true. I'm actually investigating defects at this time. That's why I had to go do that so that I could get more evidence on them.
Okay.
So I don't want to go to Alabama.
Okay, I understand. Now, just so you understand, if you decide that if you contest your extradition, the court may commit you to the county jail for an initial period of 30 days. And then you understand that I'm not authorized to set bond for you today, but I will give you your dates for your preliminary hearing. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, no problem. So your first hearing date will be June 21st, 2021 at 8:30 a.m. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am, June 21st.
Uh-huh. And you'll get all this in writing, Miss. You can take it down, but you'll also get it.
Oh, okay, awesome. You said at 8:30?
Yes, at 8:30. That's your preliminary hearing date. And then your hearing for your bond hearing will be scheduled for June 25th, 2021. So the purpose of the first hearing will be determined if it's sufficient evidence to continue to detain you.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then the second one will be whether or not you are entitled to bond. That's the June 25th.
Okay, I have one question. I'm not sure if you can answer it, but so the preliminary hearing, is that when I'll be able to tell them that they falsified documents from Clayton County?
Yeah, that's something you can discuss with your attorney. Your attorney can determine how to proceed with the hearing.
Great,
And
okay.
did you complete a request for court-appointed counsel?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Let me look at that.
Okay.
So you indicated on your form that you're currently employed. Do you know, you didn't put how much you make a month?
Yes, it varies.
Your
So
rate?
So I'm self-employed. I make about on an average about 1,000 to 1,500. I can't get paid from the government until this investigation is complete. So I'm making money from my business.
Okay. Based on your responses, Ms. Richardson, I am going to approve your request for court-appointed counsel.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions for me?
No, ma'am, you've answered everything. I appreciate you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That's it for the females, y'all.
Okay. So we can move forward with the males.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, please state your full name, sir.
Jimmy Akins.
Okay, is your middle name Lee?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, good morning, sir. How are you doing?
I'm making it. I'm all right.
I understand, sir. So I have you charged with 2 offenses. The first offense is defective headlights, and the second offense is possession of marijuana. I believe they have it at less than an ounce. Before I make my decision regarding your, well, first, do you understand the charges for the defective headlights and then possession of marijuana less than an ounce?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So before I make my decision, I had a question about your history. So it appears, based on my review of your history, that you're currently on probation. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Non-reporting.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last part.
I said, yes, ma'am. Non-reporting.
You said non-reporting?
Yes, ma'am.
What does that mean?
I'm still on probation, but I just don't report.
Okay. So based on your, I have it here that you had 10 years, and that was from a sentence date of August 14, 2024. I'm sorry, 2014. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so based on the fact that you're still on probation, unfortunately, I'm not authorized to grant a bond for you today. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. So based on that, I'm going to set your preliminary hearing date for June 21st, 2021 at 8:30 a.m. And then you'll have another hearing date on June 25th, 2021 at 8:30 a.m. Do you understand the purpose of those two hearings, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the first hearing will be determined if there's probable cause for the case to go forward. And then the June 25th hearing date will be to determine if you are eligible for bond at that time. You understand that?
Vote for what?
For bond, that's your bond.
Okay, thank you, yeah.
Okay, did you complete a request for court-appointed counsel?
Excuse me?
Did you complete a form for court-appointed attorney?
Yes,
Okay. Now, you state here that you're currently unemployed,
yes, ma'am.
okay? So based on your response, I am going to approve your request for court-appointed counsel. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Thank you.
What's the word next, ma'am? Yeah. All right, I'm sure there's time to cover it, so that's what we're sitting at.
Okay, give me your full name, please.
Robert Jesse Graham.
I'm sorry, one of the deputies could move the camera down so I can see his face.
What's your name?
I can't, yeah, I would need to see his face.
Yeah, it's the biggest one I got in here. Let's see.
Okay, okay, that's better. Okay, again, sir, give me your full name.
Robert Jesse Brand.
I still can't hear you, sir.
Robert Jesse Brand.
Thank you. Good morning, sir. You've been charged with several offenses to include trafficking, violation of the Georgia Controlled Substance Act, possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, theft by receiving stolen property, and use or possession of drug-related items. Do you understand the charges, sir? You do? You say yes? Based on the fact that you've been charged with the trafficking, sir, which is a felony, I'm not authorized to grant bond for you today. Do you understand that? However, your first hearing date will be on June 1st, 2021 at 8:30 a.m. And then you'll have a second hearing date on June 25th, 2021, and that'll be for your bond hearing.
So there's no bond for trafficking?
No, sir, not under, no, the only Superior Court has jurisdiction to set bond. So your case will be transferred to Superior Court, and at that time, that's why I have your bond here scheduled for June 25th to see whether or not you will be entitled to bond. You understand that, sir?
June 25th.
June 25th. But you have two hearing dates. The first one is the June 21st. That's to determine if there's probable cause for the charges and to see whether or not if they have enough probable cause for the case to go forward. Okay, and then that second date is your June 25th, which is to determine whether or not you'll get bond at that hearing. You understand that? Okay. Did you complete a request for court-appointed counsel? Okay, let's see here. Based on your responses, you also indicated you're currently unemployed. Okay, based on your response, sir, I am authorizing court-appointed counsel for you today. Do you have any other questions?
No.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
Yes, give me your full name, sir.
Yes, my name is O'Neal Marcus Ryan Brown.
I have you as, you said Jones, I have you as Brown.
Yes, our last name Brown.
Okay, so you're Marcus Ryan O'Neal Brown?
It's crazy how look on the ID, but it's first name O'Neal, Marcus Ryan middle, and last name Brown.
Okay. So, Mr. Brown, you've been charged with one offense of simple battery. I've set your bond amount at $6,000. Do you understand the charges as well as your bond amount?
Yes, I do.
Can you make bond?
Yes, we can do it as soon as it's available.
Okay. I've also scheduled your preliminary hearing for June 22nd, 2021 at 8:30 a.m. Do you understand that?
Just let me say very quick, June 22nd, 2/2.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
You say yes, you understand, sir?
Yes, sir, I understand.
Okay. Would you like to waive your preliminary hearing, sir, with respect to the charge of simple battery?
Would I like to raise,
Would you like to waive it?
and that's the one set for June 22nd, right?
Yes.
If I waive it, when the next time I gotta come to court?
Well, if you waive it, then your case will be set for a trial. Well, you'll get the next hearing day will be your arraignment. If you automatically if you post bond, it's automatically waived. So if you want, if you're unsure, I prefer that you leave it on the calendar. And then if you make bond, then it's automatically waived.
Okay, that makes sense. Yes, I'm posting bond, so,
Okay, so I'm gonna leave it on the calendar. So then if you make bond, then it's automatically waived. You understand that?
that makes sense.
The purpose of the hearing will be to determine if there's sufficient evidence to continue to detain you. But if you make bond, you're already out. You understand that?
Yes, I'm clear on that.
I am required to inform you that although I'm setting bond for you today, Mr. Brown, there are conditions that are included in my bond order. The first condition is that you have to stay away from, is it Bomani Brown? Do you know who Mr. Brown is?
Yeah, but my brother, his mother has him now.
Okay, is that your son?
Yes, that's my son.
Okay, how do you pronounce his name?
His name is pronounced Bomani.
Bomani, okay, Bomani. So as a condition, listen to what I'm saying, as a condition of my bond order, you have to stay away absolutely, directly, indirectly, by mail, email, pager, telephone, or third person from the person, home, workplace, and immediate family members of any witness, including but not limited to Bohaney. Do you understand that?
That makes sense. I understand.
Okay, because he's although he's your son, he's the alleged victim in the case. You understand that, sir?
Oh, yes, I understand clearly.
Okay. Also, because the incident occurred at 988 O'Hara Drive, Jonesboro, Georgia, 30236, I'm directing you not to return to that location. Do you have any personal effects at that location, sir?
The quick thing I wanted to say is that his mother has him at a different address. So,
Okay, but again, you're not required, well, you're not allowed, you got to stay away from him. So that means you can't see him even at your mom's house. You understand that?
yes, I do understand that.
Okay, what address is 988 O'Hara Drive?
That's my home, and that's my home address.
Okay, you understand that you cannot return there?
I'm clear on that.
Okay, do you still have personal effects there?
I can go somewhere else also. It's
That's not my question. I said, do you still have personal items there, sir?
oh, yes, I do.
And the reason why I ask is because if you still have personal items, then you'll need to schedule an appointment with the sheriff of Clayton County to accompany you to that residence from which you have been excluded by this order to permit you to retrieve any undisputed personal property. This appointment must be made within 10 days of your release. You understand that?
Right, yes, that makes sense.
Okay. Now, is it anyone else that live at that address, sir, the 988 O'Hara Drive?
Oh, no, that's just my home. And the only thing I was asking is that his mother takes him at her home in Atlanta. Would that clear up anything?
Okay, so you live at the 988 O'Hara Drive, Jonesboro, Georgia address alone?
Yes, and his mother lived in Atlanta. So
His
she,
mom lives where?
in Atlanta, East Atlanta.
Okay.
So she was gonna keep him there until we resolve the situation.
Okay. Well, what I'm gonna go ahead and leave it in my bond order, sir. And so what I'm gonna suggest that you do is when you contact your attorney, you let them know, you explain to them what you just explained to me. And then then they can seek an amendment to my bond order, if in fact it's appropriate for you to continue to remain at that address.
That's perfectly clear.
You understand that? And it's just because I'm not certain, I can't just take your word for what you're telling me. You understand that?
There were attorney involved.
So based on your responses here, it does appear that you qualify for a court-appointed attorney.
Okay, thank you. That'll work. That'll help.
Okay. Do you have any other questions?
No, ma'am, I'm clear on everything. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Take care. Good day.
That's why.
Oh, same thing, sorry.
Okay, give me your full name, sir.
Ryan Jamal Garland, ma'am.
Spell it for me, sir.
BRIANJAMARGARLAND.
Okay. Mr. Garland, you've been charged with 2 offenses to include improper lane change and possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Based on my review of your information, I'm setting your bond at $2,000. Do you understand the bond as well, the bond amount as well as your charges?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you make bond?
Yes, I got a proper lane change.
Improper lane change, yes, sir.
And that's I got to bond that on this charge.
I'm sorry, it has failure to maintain lane.
And I had to bond that on that charge too.
What was your question, sir?
I had to bond that on that ticket.
Yes, your ticket, the charge for your for the failure to maintain lane is $500.
Okay.
And for possession of marijuana less than an ounce is $1,500. That's the minimal bond amount. So
Okay.
it's a total of $2,000.
Okay.
Okay, so again, do you understand your charges as well as your bond amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you make bond?
Yes, ma'am.
You said no?
Yes, ma'am. I said yes, I can.
Okay. Now, as a condition of my bond order, you cannot violate any other laws while out on bond. You understand that?
Wow.
Okay. I've set your preliminary hearing date for June 22nd, 2021 at 8:30 a.m. Would you like to waive your preliminary hearing?
I just keep it on the calendar, and if I get bonded out, I just get the
Okay, great, sir. And you completed a request for court-appointed counsel, Mr. Garland? And based on your responses, you indicated you do not have a job, you're unemployed currently?
Yes, ma'am.
Based on your response, I am going to approve your request for court-appointed counsel. Do you have any other questions?
No, ma'am. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Much more. You said it, sir. Come on. You never know, like-
Okay, please state your full name.
Yvonne Rainier Leonard.
Spell it for me.
Kaedon. Rainier Raymere. Leonard Leonard.
And just to make sure I'm sure I have your, let's see. How do you pronounce it, Kavan?
Avon. Kaedon.
Kaedon. Okay. And your last name is Leonard, Leonard. Okay. Mr. Leonard, you've been charged with 3 offenses to include possession of a firearm by a felon, obstruction of an officer, and possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Your total bond amount is $13,000. Do you understand the charges as well as your bond amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you make bond?
Yes, ma'am. I do have a question, Your Honor.
Okay, what is your question?
I do have family here in Atlanta, Georgia, but I'm not from here. So I want to know how that worked with me bonding out my aunt.
Okay, well, that's something you can talk to your, I'm not involved in any type of bond, how you make bond arrangements. But usually that's something you could either handle through your attorney or a family member. Let me see here. Did you complete a request for court-appointed counsel? And you currently do not have a job?
No, ma'am. I get disability.
Okay. So based on your responses, sir, on your court-appointed form, I am approving your request for court-appointed counsel. So your attorney will be in contact with you. So if you haven't spoken with anyone then about making arrangements for bond, you can speak with your court-appointed counsel about making the arrangements.
Can you tell me how much my bond is again? I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm sorry, it's 13,000. So it's 10,000 for your possession of the firearm, 1,500 for obstruction of an officer, and 1,500 for the possession of marijuana less than an ounce.
Okay.
That's a total of 13,000.
All right.
You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm also required to give you your preliminary hearing date. Your first hearing date is scheduled for June 21st, 2021. Okay.
Any more questions?
You have another question, sir?
No, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor, I'm sorry. Are there any conditions under my bond being released? Are there any conditions?
Yes, the only condition is that you cannot violate any laws while out on bond. You understand that? Okay. Any other questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Good luck. Please give me your full name.
Muhammad Abdul, my full name, Muhammad Ibn Abdul Rahim Suleiman.
Spell that for me, sir.
Muhammad is Muhammad, Abdul, Abdul, Suleiman, Sulayman.
Okay, Miss. Okay, sir, you've been charged with 4 offenses, include possession of marijuana, possession of marijuana with intent to distribute, violation of the Georgia Controlled Substance Act, possession of additional drugs, and then possession of drug-related items. Your total bond amount is $24,000. Do you understand the charges as well as your bond amount?
Yes, ma'am. Is the 24,000, is that 10% will be 2,400 to bail out, or is it 24,000?
That's something you can speak with your with the bonding company about, sir. I'm not involved in any in the bond in making arrangements for your bond, so I can't give you any, I guess, advice with respect to that. My job here is to inform you of your charges and to tell you what your bond amount is if you're eligible for bond.
Thank you so very much.
Okay, I'm not finished. As a condition of my bond, well, first, can you make bond?
Believe so.
You believe so? Okay. Okay. As a condition of my bond order, you cannot violate any laws while out on bond. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Your first hearing date is scheduled for June 21st, 2021 at 8:30 a.m. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any other questions?
No, ma'am.
Oh, let me see here. You did complete a request for court-appointed counsel.
Yes, you did.
Okay, you're currently unemployed, sir?
Yes, ma'am. In between jobs.
I'm sorry, what was your response?
In between jobs.
Okay, in between jobs, okay. So based on your employment, lack of employment, I'm gonna go ahead and approve your request for court-appointed counsel.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you have any other questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Please give me your full name.
Male Dorian Gordon.
Well, I guess it's good afternoon now. I was gonna say good morning, but good afternoon, Mr. Gordon. How are you doing?
How you doing?
Good. You've been charged with one offense of family violence battery. I've set your bond amount at $6,000. Do you understand the charge as well as the bond amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you make bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, as a condition of my bond, if you can make bond, sir, there are certain conditions. The first condition is you have to stay away from Brittany Culpepper. That means you gotta, there can be no direct, indirect contact by mail, email, pager, telephone, or third person from the person at the person's home, work, place, and immediate family members of any witnesses, including but not limited to Ms. Culpepper.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Culpepper is?
Ma'am.
Do you know who Ms. Culpepper, Brittany? Do you know who Ms. Culpepper is?
My baby mom.
Okay, you understand that you got to stay away from her while you're out on bond.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, also, sir, because the alleged incident occurred at 8050 Taylor Road, apartment 506, Riverdale, Georgia, I'm directing you not to return to that location.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that your residence?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have any personal, undisputed personal property at that residence?
Only thing my keys. Yes.
Okay, so no undisputed personal property. So you'll need to make an appointment to get anything.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Well, based on that, sir, then those are the conditions of my bond order. I've scheduled your preliminary hearing for June 22nd, 2021 at 8:30 a.m. Would you like to waive your preliminary hearing or keep it on the calendar?
Make bond.
I'm sorry, what was your response?
I'm gonna make bond, so I'm gonna let it go from there.
Okay, so you want to waive it?
Yeah.
Okay.
You understood.
Also, did you complete a request for court-appointed counsel, sir?
No.
Okay. And you said you currently have a job, is that correct?
No.
Okay, well, based on your monthly income, I'm not authorized to grant you court-appointed counsel today. You understand that? You understand that, sir?
Ma'am.
You have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, Your Honor, the last two people I have are the fugitives.
Okay, let me do Mr. Hawkins, because Mr. Garcia needs an interpreter, correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Yeah, so let me go ahead and do Mr. Hawkins, and then we'll go off the record, and then I'll get an interpreter, and then we'll go back on the record. Please state your full name for me, sir.
Jotori Cordero Hawkins.
Spell that for me.
Eltory, E-L-T-O-R-Y. Cordero, C-O-R-D-A-R-R-A. Hawkins, H-A-W-K-I-N-S.
Okay, thank you for that, sir. So, Mr. Hawkins, you've been charged with being a fugitive from justice. Therefore, I'm not authorized to set bond for you today. However, I am required to give you an extradition hearing regarding the charged offense. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am. Excuse me, Your Honor.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. So the Spanish interpreter, he said he understands what you're saying. He just can't. He'll say yes and no. He say he understands English. He just can't respond in English. If that makes sense.
No, I'm sorry. Again, he can understand.
He understands what you're saying. He understands what we're saying. He just can't talk in English. If that makes sense. He can't like respond. He say yes and no.
Okay, no, that's not gonna be sufficient. I'm gonna need to get a new check. Okay, thank you. Okay, sorry about that, Mr. Hawkins. Again, let me introduce myself. My name is Judge Tamika West. I'm a magistrate court judge in Clayton County. This hearing is what we call an extradition hearing. All the rights that I have advised everyone of early also apply in your case, but your hearing is a little bit different from the other first appearance hearing that have taken place today. You do not have charges pending against you here in Clayton County. You have been brought to court today because you have been charged, you have charges pending against you in another state, and they're requesting that you return to that state to answer those charges. Based on the information that I have, it appears that it's the state of Mississippi that's requesting your extradition. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you in fact Mr. L. Torrey Hawkins?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have an attorney representing you in this matter?
No, I don't.
Okay, you are charged with being a fugitive for justice as follows. Okay, according to the information we have, it says here that said offender did enter and remain in the state of Georgia, knowing he was wanted by DeSoto County Sheriff's Office, Hernando, Mississippi, for battery and funneling, which is a felony. Based on the charges, sir, this hearing is being conducted pursuant to the official code of Georgia, Title 17, Chapter 13. As you have heard, it is alleged that you are charged, and I read the crimes. Do you understand the natures of the crime, sir? I didn't read the full description, but do you understand what the nature of the charges are?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, this is pending in the state of Mississippi. You have a choice as to whether you wish to contest extradition or to waive extradition and be returned to the state of Mississippi without going through the formal extradition process. If you decide you wish to contest extradition, the court may commit you to the county jail for an initial period of 30 days. During that time, a warrant will be prepared under the governor's signature for your extradition to the state of Mississippi. The court may consider allowing you to post bond, but the court is not required to allow bond in your case. As you are wanted by another jurisdiction, as I indicated before, I'm not setting bond in your case at this time. If you do not wish to voluntarily return to the state of Mississippi, you may file a writ of habeas corpus to contest the extradition. The writ of habeas corpus can only contest 4 things. The first thing is whether the extradition documents are in order on their face. The second reason is whether or not you are charged with a crime that actually exists in the demanding state of Mississippi. Thirdly is whether you are the person named in the request for extradition. And fourth, whether you are in fact a fugitive from justice. Let me be clear, you cannot contest the issue of your guilt or innocence in this state, the state of Georgia. You are entitled to the advice of counsel in contesting your extradition or in deciding whether to waive extradition. If the state is unable to extradite you within 30 days, you may be committed to the county jail for an additional 60 days awaiting your extradition. If the extradition is not complete in 90 days, then you will be released. If you decide to voluntarily waive your extradition and return to the state of Mississippi, the state of Mississippi will have 10 business days to travel to the state of Georgia to transfer you back to the state of Mississippi. If they do not come to transfer you back to the state of Mississippi within 10 business days, you will be released. Do you have any question regarding anything that I just explained to you?
No, ma'am.
Do you wish to contest extradition or waive extradition and voluntarily return to the state of Mississippi to answer the charges against you?
Waive extradition and voluntary return.
Okay. Since you want to waive extradition, sir, then the sheriff will give you 5 to 7 copies of the waiver. You will also need to sign those waivers. You understand that? And they will be returned back to me.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any additional questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, sir, you are remanded to the custody of the sheriff at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, deputies, at this time, this is Mr. Garcia, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, at this time, I'm gonna go off the record because I need to call to get an interpreter on the line. So give me about 5 minutes and then I'll return with the interpreter on the line, and then we'll proceed forward with Mr. Garcia's extradition hearing.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Siéntate. Por un momento.
Un momento.
Okay, deputies, we're back on the record. I do have an interpreter for Mr. Garcia.
Señor Garcia.
If you could ask him to please state his full name for the record.
Señor, yo voy a ser la intérprete en español en esta llamada. ¿Podría brindar, por favor, su nombre completo para esta grabación?
Mi nombre completo es Fabián Valdés García.
Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. I cannot hear him well.
Okay, let me see if I can turn up my volume. Okay, if you could speak louder, Mr. Garcia. If you could ask him to speak louder.
Señor García, disculpe, no lo puedo escuchar. No sé si puede hablar un poco más alto, un poco más lento.
Mi nombre es Fabián Valdés García.
Fabián Méndez García, ¿es así?
Valdés García.
Fabián Andrés García.
Sí.
Gracias. Excuse me, ma'am. I'll try to do my best, but it sounds from very far, like some echo on it. But he confirmed that his full name is Fabián Andrés García.
Okay. Yes, if you could, I'll do most of the talking, but Mr. Garcia, if you could let him know that we need for him to speak louder when I asked him questions. Okay, if you want to ask him.
Señor García, la mayor parte del tiempo va a hablar solo ella, pero igual trate de, como no se escucha bien, voy a tratar de que me hable un poco más alto para poder escucharlo, ¿sí?
Ok, perfecto.
All right, then.
Okay. Mr. Garcia, you've been charged with being a fugitive from justice. Therefore, I'm not authorized to set bond for you today.
Excuse me, ma'am, you said he's receiving some charges?
He's been charged with being a fugitive from justice. Therefore, I'm not authorized to set bond for him today. A fugitive.
Oh, and you're not authorized to set a fine for him?
I'm not authorized to set bond, B-O-N-D, bond for him today.
Thank you. Señor García, ¿me escucha? Para informarle de que usted ha recibido cargos por estar en un estado de fugitivo, por eso no le puedo autorizar una fianza el día de hoy.
Okay.
Does he understand the charge as well as the no bond?
¿Entiende los cargos que está teniendo ahora y también que no va a tener una fianza?
Sí lo entiendo, por ese motivo yo quería hablar con el estado de Colorado para ver si me podían hacer cambio de mis cortes o lo que tenga pendiente a este estado. La verdad, pues yo no estaba tratando de fugarme ni nada.
¿Con quién quería hablar?
Con los del estado de Colorado para que me otorgaran pues un permiso o lo que ellos digan que es necesario que haga. Yo vine nada más de visita aquí con mi hermana y yo regresé para el estado de Colorado.
I'm sorry, ma'am. Even though he's trying to speak loud, it's more about that it sounds dispersion, like robotic, all I hear is that he was just he just wanted to get some permission to get some calls.
Okay.
And then the charges and then no bond.
Okay, tell me in sum what he said again.
He wasn't trying to escape. He understands the charges that you're talking about and the no bond, but he wanted to get a permission to do a call.
Okay, can you inform him that that's not the purpose of the hearing today?
Sí, Sí, señor. Lamentablemente ese no es el propósito de la audiencia el día de hoy.
Okay.
The purpose of the hearing is to determine whether or not he wants to waive extradition to return to the state of Colorado.
El motivo de esta audiencia es saber si va a renunciar a la extradición del estado de Colorado.
Okay.
This hearing is what is called an extradition hearing.
Esta audiencia es lo que nosotros llamamos una audiencia de extradición.
Okay, perfect.
All the rights that I have advised everyone of early also apply in his case, but his hearing is a little bit different.
That his hearing will be a bit different.
Yes.
Thank you. Yo he autorizado que avisen a todos con anticipación también de que en su caso esta audiencia iba a ser un poco diferente.
Okay.
He currently do not have charges pending against him in Clayton County.
In which county, ma'am?
Clayton, Clayton.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Actualmente no hay cargos pendientes contra usted en el condado de Clayton.
No, no que yo sepa.
Not that I know.
Okay. You have been brought to court today because you have charges pending against you in another state.
Usted ha sido traído a corte el día de hoy porque tiene cargos en otro estado.
Sí, en el estado de Colorado.
Yes, in Colorado.
Yes. And the state of Colorado is requesting that you return to the state to answer those charges.
Está solicitando que regrese a este estado para responder cargos.
¿Cómo? No lo entendí.
Okay, I understood.
Are you in fact Valdez Garcia?
Excuse me, ma'am, what was the question?
Is he in fact Valdez, Valdez Garcia? Is that his name?
Señor, su nombre es Fabián García.
Sí, Valdez García.
Valdez García.
Sí.
Does he already have an attorney?
Yes.
Okay. Does he already have an attorney representing him in this matter?
Señor, ¿usted ya tiene algún abogado que lo represente en este caso?
No.
You are being charged with being
No.
okay. You are being charged with being a fugitive from justice.
Usted está con los cargos como fugitivo de la justicia.
Okay.
This hearing is being conducted in accordance with Georgia law, Title 17, Chapter 13.
Excuse me, ma'am, that will be processed through Georgia law?
Yes, it's been conducted in accordance with Georgia law.
Thank you. Señor, esto va a ser procesado por la ley de Georgia por mala conducta.
Okay.
As I have explained, it is alleged that you are charged with entering and remaining in the state of Georgia knowing that you had an active warrant out in the state of Colorado. A failure to appear for fraud.
Sorry, just to explain, you're saying that he has to remain in the state of Georgia?
No, this is the purpose of the hearing, to determine that. So again, no, I just need for you to read this statement. As I have explained, it is alleged that he is charged with entering and remaining in the state of Georgia, knowing that he had an active warrant out in the state of Colorado for a failure to appear for fraud.
For fraud, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. El motivo de esta audiencia es que, bueno, ya se le ha explicado de que usted tiene los cargos, está acusado por haber permanecido en el estado de Utah sabiendo que tenía que quedarse en el estado de Colorado por los cargos que tiene de fraude.
¿De fraude?
You said fraud?
Yes.
Sí, señor, fraude.
Pero no tengo ningún cargo de fraude en Colorado.
Excuse me, I do not have any fraud charges in Colorado.
Okay, let him know that's just the allegation.
Esas son solo las alegaciones.
Okay.
You have a choice as to whether you wish to contest going back to the state of Colorado or waiving the extradition to be returned to the other state without going through the former extradition process.
Could you repeat that,
Yes.
please?
You have a choice as to whether you wish to contest extradition or to waive extradition and be returned to the other state without going through the formal extradition process.
Thank you. Usted tiene el cargo y puede impugnar la extradición o renunciar a esta extradición a Colorado mientras nosotros hacemos o empezamos el proceso de extradición.
Yo quisiera que todo me lo hicieran aquí para que no me extraditaran para Colorado.
I will just ask for petition, I can't hear him. Señor, ¿me dice más fuerte? ¿Qué dijo?
Yo quisiera que me pasaran los cargos aquí y ustedes me hicieran el proceso aquí para que no me extraditaran para Colorado.
Okay. I just wanted to know if I could do all this process here. I don't want the extradition back to Colorado.
Okay, I understand. So I'm going to give him his rights about how to contest the extradition.
Entiendo, señor. Le voy a dar solamente los derechos que tiene para que pueda impugnar la extradición.
Okay.
First, if he decides and wish to contest the extradition, the court may commit him to the county jail for an initial period of 30 days.
He might wait for 30 days?
No, the court may commit him to the county jail, which means detain him to the county jail for an initial period of 30 days. You can use the word detain.
Thank you.
Primero, señor, si decide impugnar la extradición, la Corte lo puede tener detenido en la cárcel por un periodo inicial de 30 días.
Ujú. Y si me extradita para Colorado, duraría los mismos días. Es que yo necesito continuar con mi empleo, con mi trabajo.
¿Cómo, señor? ¿Lo repite más fuerte?
Sí. Si me extradita para Colorado, ¿duraré los mismos 30 días aquí o cómo? No sé cómo funciona eso.
If you do the extradition back to Colorado, should I be in jail in Colorado too, or not the same 30 days?
I'm not certain. I'm not familiar with laws in Colorado. I can only tell them what the state of Georgia will do.
Disculpe, señor, no estoy familiarizada con las leyes de Colorado. Solamente le podría explicar lo que pasa aquí en Georgia.
Pues que hagan lo que es de aquí y yo aquí me espero.
Okay, I will follow the law here. I can wait here.
Okay, so, okay, I'm gonna read the rest of my statement. So ask him to hold his question until I complete the full statement.
Señor, ella va a leer las declaraciones y luego al final puede hacer las preguntas, ¿sí?
Ok, perfecto.
Perfecto.
If he contests the extradition during that time, a warrant will be prepared.
Sorry, ma'am, what will be prepared?
A warrant. A warrant. WARRANT.
Thank you. Señor, en caso de que usted desee impugnar la extradición, durante ese tiempo se va a preparar una orden judicial.
Okay.
So the warrant will be prepared for the governor to sign regarding his extradition to the state of Colorado.
Entonces, esta orden judicial va a ser preparado por el gobernador asignado acerca de la extradición al estado de Colorado.
Okay, perfecto.
The court may consider allowing him to post bond, but the court is not required to do so.
What he could be allowed, ma'am? Sorry.
No problem. The court may consider allowing him to post bond, B-O-N-D. But the court is not required to do so.
La corte tal vez le pueda otorgar una fianza, pero no es que la corte esté obligada a hacerlo.
Okay, perfecto.
I am not setting a bond in his case at this time since he is wanted by the state of Colorado.
No estoy diciendo que se le vaya a brindar una fianza ahora en este caso, porque estamos basados en el estado de Colorado.
Okay, está bien.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. If he does not wish to return voluntarily to the state of Colorado, he can file a writ, that's W-R-I-T, a writ of habeas corpus. Habeas is H-A-B-E-A-S, corpus is C-O-R-P-U-S, to contest the extradition.
En caso de que usted no desee regresar de manera voluntaria a Colorado, usted puede llenar un escrito del habeas corpus.
Okay.
The writ can contest 4 things.
Excuse me, ma'am, that can contest.
The writ, that's W-R-I-T. The writ can contest 4 things. And I'm going to read the 4 things that it can contest, that he can use to contest.
Este documento que usted llenaría puede disputar 4 cosas. Se las voy a leer.
Ok, perfecto.
I'm sorry, what was his response?
Okay, ma'am. Perfect.
Okay. The first reason is whether the extradition documents are in order.
Lo primero es que los documentos de extradición estén en orden.
Ok.
The second reason is whether he was charged with a crime that actually exists in the state of Colorado.
Revisar que los delitos acusados realmente sucedieron en Colorado.
Ok.
The third reason is whether his request, whether he is in fact the person named in the request for extradition.
Sorry, ma'am, just confirm whether his name is.
No, whether or not he is the,
Documents for
no,
extradition.
no, whether he is the person that's named in the request for extradition. Whether in fact he is the person that's named in the request for extradition.
Thank you. Lo tercero, si es usted la persona nombrada en el documento para la extradición.
Ok.
And lastly, whether he is in fact a fugitive from justice.
Y lo cuarto, verificar si usted es en verdad un fugitivo de justicia.
Ok.
He cannot contest he cannot contest the issue of guilt or innocence in the state of Georgia.
Usted no puede impugnar el problema de inocencia o culpabilidad en el estado de Georgia.
Ok, perfecto.
Perfect.
He is also entitled to the advice of counsel in contesting the extradition or in deciding whether to waive extradition.
Usted también tiene el derecho de tener asesoría con un cónsul para impugnar la extradición o renunciar a la extradición.
Ok.
If the state is unable to extradite him within 30 days, he may be detained in the county jail for an additional 60 days awaiting extradition.
Additional 60 days, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. El Estado se encuentra incapacitado de extraditarlo dentro de los próximos 30 días. Puede que sea detenido adicionalmente unos 60 días hasta exonerar, renunciar a la extradición.
Ok.
If the extradition is not completed in 90 days, then he will be released.
En caso que la extradición no sea completada en 90 días, usted puede ser liberado.
Ok.
If he decides to voluntarily waive extradition and return to the state of Colorado, the state of Colorado will have 10 business days to travel to the state of Georgia to transfer him back to the state of Colorado.
En caso de que usted decida de manera voluntaria renunciar e ir a Colorado, el estado de Colorado tiene 10 días para poder viajar a Georgia y llevarlo de nuevo a Colorado.
Okay.
If the state of Colorado does not come to transfer him back to the state of Colorado within 10 business days, then he will be released.
Si el estado de Colorado no se encarga de transportarlo o llevárselo en 10 días hábiles, usted será liberado.
Okay.
Does he have any questions regarding anything that I just explained?
Ahora sí, señor, ¿tendría alguna consulta o una pregunta acerca de lo que te acabo de decir?
No, estoy bien.
No, I'm good.
At this time, I need an answer. Does he wish to contest extradition or waive formal extradition and voluntary return to the state of Colorado to answer the charges against him?
Entonces, ahora necesito preguntarle si usted quiere hacer o impugnar la extradición o quiere renunciar a su derecho de extradición y regresar al estado de Colorado para afrontar los cargos que tiene en ese estado.
Quisiera renunciar.
¿Quiere renunciar?
Sí.
I want to waive the extradition.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm clear. If he waives the extradition, then he's voluntarily agreeing to go back to the state of Colorado. If he contests the extradition, then he will remain here in the state of Georgia while during the extradition process. I need to make sure he understands the difference.
Señor, si usted renuncia a la extradición, significa que usted voluntariamente quiere irse a Colorado. Si usted quiere impugnar la extradición, significa que se quiere quedar en el estado de Georgia mientras se hace todo el proceso de extradición.
Ah, sí. Pues mejor voy para que arreglar todos los problemas de ahí de Colorado. Y después no tengo ningún problema en regresar a vivir aquí a Atlanta. ¿Sí?
Señor, ¿quiere regresar a Colorado para arreglar sus problemas o quedarse?
Regresar a Colorado para arreglar los problemas.
So I will rather go back to Colorado and fix the problems I have in that state.
Okay, can you make sure that he understands that he previously told me that he wanted to contest the extradition, and does he understand that he's now changing that decision to waiving extradition?
Señor, solamente quiero asegurarme de que está entendiendo todo, porque antes me dijo de que usted quería quedarse en Georgia y no quería ser extraditado, pero ahora ha cambiado de decisión y prefiere regresar a Colorado. ¿Es correcto?
Sí, porque me dice que en 10 días si no vienen puedo quedar liberado y yo necesito ir a mi trabajo. Y si no viene, si hago lo de otro, son 90 días, son 3 meses. En 3 meses yo tengo que trabajar porque yo tengo mi familia que mantener.
Yes, I changed my mind because you told me that maybe if they do not come for me in 10 days, I could be released and I need to work. Otherwise, if I take the other option, I might be here for 3 months without working, and I need to do it because my family depends on me.
Okay, I understand. Let him know I understand. I just wanted to make sure he understood that he was changing his decision.
Claro que sí, señor, lo entiendo. Solamente quería asegurarme de que estaba cambiando de decisión.
Sí, está bien.
All right.
Okay, so to move forward with his waiver, he'll need to sign the waiver of extradition. Does he understand that?
Entonces, para seguir lo que necesita hacer es firmar su renuncia a la extradición. ¿Entiende eso?
Sí.
Okay, does he have any additional questions?
Señor, ¿tiene alguna pregunta adicional?
No.
Let him know he's remanded to
No.
the, okay, let him know then he's remanded back to the custody of the sheriff at this time.
Ok, señor. Solo para recordarle que ahorita va a regresar a la carceleta donde estaba.
Ok, perfecto, está bien.
All right, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for your patience, ma'am. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for your services.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Is that's all you needed, Your Honor?
Yes, I just need for you to return. There were two that waived extradition, that being, I believe it was Mr. Hawkins and Mr. Garcia.
Yes, Your Honor. You can send the facts right to you.
Yeah, so if you can get those to me within the hour, I would appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We're gonna send it off.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you have a good weekend, Your Honor.
Okay, bye-bye.